Welcome, Nico.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sounds great.
Great. Have never used that tool before.
Yeah, it's a first time for a lot of us. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We'll just wait a minute for everyone to have a chance to join. We are super excited about this week's AMA with Streetbeat. So invite your friends to join. We'll have a lot of great stuff today. We will be talking all about the Sperax and Streetbeat partnership. I also know that Alec likes to have plenty of alpha leak during these sessions, so stay tuned for that. For those of you here that are new to Sperax, make sure you give us a follow on Twitter, and you can also find us on Discord. We have a pretty active community there. Also, please follow Streetbeat at streetbeat_com. And then as a reminder, we will be giving out 500 SPA tokens to the 3 best live and in-person questions today. So be thinking about things that you may want to ask.
Hey, Ray, you can request to become a speaker. I believe you can raise your hand.
I'll go ahead and send him an invite.
And for reference, everyone, this will be recorded. So if any of your friends aren't able to attend right now, we'll be delivering a recorded version of this that anyone can share or go listen to later this week.
So I think we have everybody. I know some more people will trickle in as we get going here. So we can go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to our weekly AMA. Today is a special AMA because we will be discussing the recent partnership between Sperax and Streetbeat. So we have on stage today Alec, Nico, and Ray from the Sperax team, and also our special guest Damian, who is CEO of Streetbeat. So Damian, thank you for being here today and taking the time. Really looking forward to this.
Hi everybody, I'm very happy to be here with you today.
So my name is Elliot. You may have seen me around the Sperax Discord channel. I'm going to be moderating today's AMA. We have a lot of good questions today, and we'll get to those in a minute. But first, I would like to give Damian a chance to introduce himself and give us a little bit of background.
Sure. I will start a little bit telling you a little bit of my story today. I will try to be short, and then we can move and talk about Streetbeat and answer any question that you may have. Concerning my past, I was born from an Italian family in Argentina. We were a poor family back there. We moved back to Italy, and where I was immediately involved and passionate about computers and coding and video games. Basically since the age of 6, I think I played back in 1986, everything that was made up to that date. And the passion for computer, video games, and coding was very, very prominent in all my life. I was one of those guys that when they were 12, the friends will come to ask them to go outside and play, and I will be playing Civilization or SimCity or stuff like that. And I started, the other passion that I had was finance, so I was always passionate about stock market. And so at university, I started studying finance trading in general. And when I was at the university in Italy, my father died very young, and I had to drop university and start to take care of family. We had like $200,000 in debt back then. I was just 20. I had to take care of the family, fix everything. And I was lucky because I immediately started to work in a fintech company that the name is List. And they were the company that actually developed the central stock exchange in Europe, in particular the bond market ones, in partnership with another company called SIA, and then the market making software and high frequency software and algo trading software. So when I was 21, I joined this company very young, but by the age of 22, I was following over 100 customers all over the world that were making billions of dollars in the stock market using this technology. By the age of 22, just to give you an idea, banks and hedge funds were paying my company $4,000 per day just to have me go in there and teach them how to be a market maker. Okay, so just to give an idea. So I was working for JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Nomura in Japan, BNP Paribas, Bank of Madrid, Bank Bilbao Vizcaya, UniCredit. All the trading rooms that were operating in Europe were my customer, and I was the person that was teaching them how to be proficient in algo trading and market making. At the age of 26, I paid all my family debts, and I was a bit tired of helping all these banks to make money, and I was just an employee. So I decided to quit and start my own trading desk. I started with 25K, and I make 25K in 3 days. And since then, it went just better and better. And I did that with the best traders that I met during my previous 6 years. It was fantastic because I knew every trader in Europe, which one was good, which one was bad. At one point, I had access to basically every trading desk. So I knew the P&L of each trader, each trading desk, each bank. And so it was fantastic for me to start this first startup. That was this private trading desk with high frequency trading and algo trading. Just to give more context, the first month, I crashed the stock market hardware twice because I looped my algo trading strategy with one of my ex-customers. And basically we sent so many orders to market in the same second that the entire software hardware was not able to handle, and the hardware had a physical failure, and basically the entire bond market in Italy in that case went up. Bank of Italy called me very angry the first time. The second time, even more angry. But anyway, they have to change the rule to handle the situation, and we have to wait 2 weeks that the new hardware arrived. For 2 weeks, all the banks operating in that market could then to do algo trading and have to update manually the prices. And during those 3 years in which I ran that private trading desk, I traveled around the world and every weekend, and I met fantastic people, including the Nobel Prize for Peace, Yunus, which inspired me to do microfinance project, mostly in West Africa. And so I spent a lot of time building non-profit and microfinance project in West Africa. Until one day, the president of the Savannah Bank, was the name of the project in Benin, had a motorbike accident and unfortunately went to coma. And at the same time, when I was receiving that info, a startup was pitching me a much more safe motorbike, 3-wheel scooter, a 3-wheel motorbike and 4-wheel motorbike, which then I helped to create to make the motorbike more safe. And then in Europe, it's quite prominent. You can see around motorbike with 2 wheels in the front, and now motorbike with 2 wheels in the front and 2 wheels in the back. That was a project called Quadro. After that, I sold my shares also on that startup. And then I moved to Silicon Valley, where I started with Magic, my CTO, which is here today also. We can answer technical questions. I started a data company called Axwave. And the data company went quite well. And we again engaged with hedge fund. And I discovered that the hedge fund were buying a lot of data to combine with algo trading now. For example, they had satellite data to see how many cars are parked at Walmart and measure if there is more or less car than expected, if Walmart is doing better or worse. They have satellite data also about coffee crops to see how much coffee is produced, or rice and other production like that. They have credit card data that they use to see how many people spent money on Netflix this month, or other public trading company, GPS data to see how many people went to Starbucks, and so on. So we helped them organize and massage all this data. So we became pretty proficient at this with my previous team. And then I sold that company December 2018 to the founder of BitTorrent. Maybe some of you are familiar with it. And then after the compete expired 2 years later, what we really dreamed was with Magic to actually try to give everything that we learned during this 20 years, both in data and in algo trading, and put it available to everybody. So basically we want to close the gap between all these hedge funds that have all this algo trading and this data, and give it to everybody in a much more democratic way. Of course, hedge funds have billions of dollars to buy and process data. We are still at the beginning. We just started last year. We got the first 10 million of funding, but that's the direction. The direction is to democratize professional trading. Also because manual trading statistically is very difficult. 80% of the people that do manual trading lose 80% of the money in the first 80 days of trading, unfortunately. So we want to fix that by giving people the possibility to buy and sell instead stocks, algo trading strategies, and selected projects like Sperax in order to navigate the market that is very uncertain right now. So this technology is particularly good and designed for this moment in which the market can be bear or can be on a lateral phase with a lot of volatility, and our clients can navigate this moment much more safe than just with self-direct investment. Okay, this just to give you a little bit of context. I have much more stories and much more anecdote to share maybe later during the day. And thank you, Alec, for the opening.
Yeah, absolutely, Damian. It's awesome to hear the backstory. It sounds like you've lived many lives up to this point. So it's so awesome what you guys are doing with Streetbeat. Tons of growth, tons of momentum. I encourage everyone to go download their app. It's super easy. It's very user-friendly. They have a very slick user interface. So head over to their website, get it on all your devices. Next, I'll kick it over to Alec. Alec, would you mind giving a brief introduction and then tell us a little bit about Sperax?
Yeah, for sure. So thank you so much, Damian, for joining. And thank you, all of the guests here today, for taking time out of your day to chat with us. My name is Alec. I do growth and partnerships here at Sperax. Prior to Sperax, I was working at Marquette University, which is a university in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, in the United States. And I was running an entrepreneurship department after I graduated. But previous to graduation, I had started their blockchain research lab in 2016. I gathered a couple professors, gathered a couple students interested in this new, strange, emerging market. And we began to host trading competitions. We consulted local banks, did a lot of stuff starting in 2016. So as an undergraduate, I studied finance and economics. But I truly am just kind of like a nerd at heart. So when it came to the technical stuff, particularly mechanism design, I became very intrigued and fell down the rabbit hole very deep in 2016. And it's most of what I've thought about since, for better or for worse. So when I'm not doing crypto stuff, you can find me snowboarding, you can find me skateboarding. So that's a brief introduction about me. And I'll give a quick elevator pitch about Sperax. So Sperax, we're a software development firm, and we build open source financial software, and we deploy that software to public blockchains. Our goal is to make DeFi equitable and accessible with super user-friendly products. But most importantly, we need to build products that are safe, secure, and reliable for the new crypto user. And our beachhead product, the Sperax USD protocol, is a protocol that wraps popular yield-bearing stablecoin strategies into one liquid auto-yielding stablecoin. So the protocol actually uses rebasing technology to use strictly a positive rebase to distribute yield currently targeting 11% annual. It actually will distribute this yield without the end user having to stake, claim, or do anything that might resemble a crypto native action. So by reducing or removing the need to stake and claim, it unlocks the ability to plug this decentralized protocol into regulated fintech front ends. So that way users can actually harness the power of DeFi in an automated, gas efficient way through user interfaces that they're already familiar with in the fintech and the Web2 arena. So that's a brief introduction to Sperax and how we kind of fit into the tech stack.
Thank you, Alec. I can't let you off the hook. You always leave this little part out of your history. I believe it was 2017. Could you remind the listeners how many Bitcoin you spent on a certain item that cost about $100?
Yeah, so the way I came across all of this weird industry, this weird tech was in 2016, I was still underage at the time, and I wanted to go drink some beer with a couple of my buddies on the university campus. And we came across an online venue that would sell fake IDs, and they actually accepted Bitcoin. So in 2016, we paid upwards of 50 Bitcoin for some of these fake IDs. And in retrospect, they were incredibly expensive. But at the time, I got to experience firsthand, though it was through this kind of like sketchy venue, I was able to actually experience the technology firsthand. I paid for these things and they got delivered. So right when that happened, I was like, what the heck is going on here? And our like half Bitcoin that we had left over ended up increasing in value in 2017. And that really was a signal of validation for us. And we said, what the heck is going on here? And then we had a deep dive at the Marquette Blockchain Lab to learn all about the tech. So yeah, for better or for worse, I came across it for the first time buying a fake ID to drink some beer with my friends.
I just can't let you off the hook. It's like Bitcoin Pizza 2.0, just not quite as bad, but similar. Okay, yep. So to bring us back on topic, Nico, I'd like you to just give a brief introduction of yourself, and then also as the economic designer for Sperax, there's been some changes to the protocol to make it more safe and resilient. If you wouldn't mind just explaining what some of those changes were.
For sure. Yeah, so my name is Nicolas. My background has been in economics. I did my undergrad in economics in the UK, and I also did my master's there. Then I spent some time in academia. I was a research fellow at the London School of Economics, and I also did I was a research scholar at Princeton University for a bit more than a year. I joined crypto by being one of the first members of Terra. So I joined Terra in the early 2019. I helped Terra in the early days come up with a stability mechanism, and I was involved in the internal discussions when it comes to launching Mirror and Anchor. However, I left Terra before we even launched USD due to some strategic. I had some differences with the way leadership was going at the time, so I left the company a year and a half after, and that's when I joined Sperax, which I played a pivotal role designing the stablecoin USDs. USDs now has some really interesting features. It's a hybrid stablecoin. It means it's backed explicitly by external collateral like other stablecoins, and it's also backed implicitly in an algorithmic manner using our own governance token, SPA. When we first launched, we decided to be 95% collateral-based, 5% algorithmically backed. But given the recent events in the market and the negative sentiment against algorithmic stablecoins, we decided to increase the resilience of the protocol, provide some of our own resources, and make USDS backed at 100% rate using other external stablecoins. So at the moment, USDS is 100% backed. And the plan is to become more algorithmic at a rate of 1% per year. Of course, this could be subject to change if DAO participants really want to, but we decided to err on the side of cautious at the moment. Yeah, so the interesting thing now is what we do with our collateral. We take our collateral and we redeploy it on external DeFi applications like Curve or Aave. And we generate yield on that by being a liquidity provider or by lending via decentralized markets that collateral. And then we take that yield and pass it through to the end user. So our vision effectively is to be able to increase access to the power of decentralized finance. Like we think there are some really interesting, cool yield-bearing opportunities there that could be challenging for the vast majority of users. So we streamline the whole experience by allowing users to capture that yield just by holding our stablecoin, which is 100% backed. So an interesting detail for someone who wants to focus more on the nitty-gritty is that the way we do the yield distribution, we don't actually increase the supply of stablecoin in the market. What we effectively do is we buy back from the open market stablecoins using the yield generated, and we distribute those stablecoins back to the end user proportionally to how many stablecoins they have on their wallet. So effectively, it's a pretty safe way to distribute yield, to be yield-bearing stablecoin. I think we're in a good balance between rewards and risk.
That's great. Thank you, Nico. Okay, so I think we are ready to jump into some of the questions. So we have aggregated the questions from Telegram and Discord and other places. I'll start by asking some of the questions that had some of the more popular questions that had kind of common themes. We'll also have the opportunity, I see we have one request to ask a question live. We will get to those as well, so please just raise your hand. First question here is to Damian. So Damian, tell us a little bit about Streetbeat as a platform and what this partnership unlocks for your users.
Yeah, sure. So in Streetbeat, as I say, we want to bring all the technology that usually is available just to the top 1% and make it free and accessible to everybody. Basically, we want to operate Streetbeat like a crowdsourced hedge fund. And we have in our mind 3 asset classes. One is stock, one is crypto, and another one is DeFi. And for each asset class, we will have multiple strategy. For this, in the same time, if somebody wants, he can operate manually a la Robinhood, except that in the future, we will return the payment for order flow to the user when we will start to collect it, which we are not yet. So for each asset class, the stock, crypto, and DeFi, we made a very simple UI to buy and sell positions in strategies instead of simple stock. So for example, in short-term stock trading strategy, we have a strategy called earning call. In this earning call strategy, based on our data, we decide which company to buy before the earning call are released, and then we sell them after the earning call are released. In this way, the user is exposed for a minimum risk in a moment of high volatility, but with a direction in which we are more confident than random trading, and so increase the chance of gain compared to just buying a stock randomly. So which data we use, for example, in the case of the earning call? In the case of the earning call, we use credit card data, we use GPS data, and we use social sentiment data of the analysts of the street. We then weight all these, and then we decide which stock is worth to buy or which stock is worth to sell. For a user, it's just a strategy in which they decide to allocate, I don't know, $1,000, and then the strategy will do everything by itself. We'll buy and sell the stock at the right time based on statistics and based on the analysis that we did. The overall goal is to have a set of strategies in stock, crypto, and DeFi that average more than 10% every year, also in bear markets. Now, this is what we are building, and one part of our offer, as I say, was DeFi. And so we did a lot of research in this space. And we came across, for example, Terra, and we did a due diligence there, and Terra had too many red flags for us. So even if we had a waiting list for Terra back in February, I think, we never let anybody buy any USD. In our due diligence keep going, and then eventually we selected Sperax because it was out of our due diligence the one that give us the biggest level of confidence for the yield that was able to generate. So now we believe a lot in the possibility to give our user a source of income like the yields that Sperax is able to generate, especially on this market that we think will be very volatile and uncertain, at least till the end of the year. So having a strategy that return a constant yield, I think will be very important, especially in the next 6 months. With Streetbeat, we can already onboard users from US and from Europe, and we already have all the rails to convert fiat to stock, crypto, or DeFi. And inside Streetbeat, and we will talk about that later, we reward our users, the clients that join, with $5,000 to $5,000 welcome bonus that are all assigned to Sperax for Europe, and for US they are all assigned to Sperax in California and 5 other states, and the rest of the states we give them Bitcoin or cash until we complete the license in order to be able to give our customer the possibility to buy Sperax in all the United States.
That's great, Damian. Thank you. We're flattered that you see Sperax and the USDS stablecoin in the same light that we do, as an awesome, stable opportunity for great yield, especially kind of entering some of the markets or the markets that we are in and potentially see continuing going forward. All right, so next I am going to Talha. I'm going to go ahead and see if you have a question you'd like to ask live. All right, Talha, we got you up. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, you should be. Yes, go right ahead.
I just want to ask, will we need any KYC for registration on Streetbeat app? If yes, then in how many countries do you guys will provide your services of Streetbeat app? Means any restrictions for any countries? Because I'm asking because I am from Pakistan. Can I register myself on app?
Yes, thank you for the question. So at this time, we accept all the US citizens, and we are able to onboard European citizens. So every European state from Portugal to Poland. We are planning to expand abroad in next year. So for the South Asia, we're gonna need to wait Q1 2023 right now. The rest of the country can join immediately, and we are quite a unique offering that is able to onboard users in stock and crypto and DeFi trading, both from US and Europe already. So we had already to go through a lot of challenges to be able to do that. Adding Asia, South Asia, and India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and others will take extra time. So we'll plan to do that next year.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, thanks for answering all my question.
Thanks to you.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Airtel up on stage here. If you have a question, Airtel, go right ahead. And actually, while he's connecting, oh, we got him now. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, Airtel, you have the stage.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you. Go ahead.
I wanna ask how we can participate in brand ambassador program of your project.
Could you repeat the question? I did not get that one.
I am asking, do you have any ambassador program, brand ambassador program for your project?
Still not sure I understand the question. Embedded programs?
Does Streetbeat have any ambassador programs? Is what he's asking. And Alec, if you want to answer that from the Sperax side.
Okay, I can answer from the Streetbeat side. So, concerning the ambassador programs, we are preparing it. We will do an Ask Me Anything next week to talk about that. We are getting ready in that direction because we are a registered investor advisor, a money service business, and a money transmitter registered in US. We have a lot of regulations, of course, compared to just being an ambassador of a deregulated or less regulated industry. But yes, we have something ready. It will be a surprise. So stay tuned for next week. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hi, and I can
Awesome.
speak briefly. I can speak briefly to the Sperax side of things. So we do have an ambassador program. It is still in its early stages, but if you're interested in participating as an ambassador, please go to the Sperax USD Twitter account, and you can actually click on the link to submit a proposal. Your proposal can include your ideas around becoming an ambassador, and then we can have a conversation around providing a grant or providing you with all of the necessary content to get that position up and running, and then you could become the ambassador for potentially a native language community or any sort of other ideas that you have around such an ambassador program. We're very open to working with ambassadors and providing grants to see that happen. So please go follow the link on the Sperax USD Twitter account, and we can get that ball rolling.
Thanks, Alec. And this next question will go right back to you. So how do you see a fintech partnership like Streetbeat help a crypto protocol like Sperax?
Yeah, great question. And thank you for asking. So we have a general thesis at Sperax that, the low daily active user participation is likely the result of significantly different user experiences when interacting with crypto compared to interacting with a website or a application that they're familiar with in the Web 2 kind of traditional financial space. So we think it's quite a big assumption to assume that these users are all of a sudden going to become crypto experts and become extremely passionate about holding their private keys. We think that there is a very valid interest in the market for such products, like not your keys, not your coins type users. But when it comes to the more novice crypto user, maybe one that's less interested in investing in altcoins and even investing in anything volatile, we envision fintech partnerships to be the vehicle that will deliver the power of decentralized finance and the power of crypto to those users that may not be crypto experts or even interested in crypto that much. So now a user who's simply interested in a non-volatile, high interest instrument can download the Streetbeat platform users are onboarded through.
I think we might be having internet issues with Alec. Alec, can you hear me?
Yeah, I cannot hear him either.
Okay, yeah, so we'll go ahead and move on, and Alec, hopefully that internet connection gets a little better. So I'm going to bring up on stage Brad or Bryce here, so we'll connect here for a moment, and then they can ask their question. All right, Brader, you have the floor. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, you can ask your question. Brader, can you hear me? Okay, maybe we'll move on, and if we can get that mic situation figured out, we'll come back. So next question. So this is more of a technical question that has come up in our community. I know we have Magic here in the audience and also Ray. The question comes from AKV. Will every USDS holder in Streetbeat count as a unique wallet holder, or will Streetbeat count as one wallet managing all of their tokens? Will Streetbeat mint the USDS or buy from the open market?
I can answer this question. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
So right now it is a one wallet, and we are planning to migrate in the next months to individual wallets, at least for the users that hold a significant amount of USDS. And the second part of the question, we are minting USDS. We're not buying it from the open market.
Very good. Thank you. The next question, this looks like it might be good for Damian. It's from AG Kaushika. Do you have hope for using other audited decentralized protocols that can generate yield in the future?
So we always do and keep doing our due diligence. At the moment, out of the due diligence that we did, the only one that satisfied our criteria was Sperax. We do have in mind and planning to actually offer stacking and yielding for other crypto and other stablecoin. And eventually one day, even for Sperax when the protocols will be ready. So that's more the direction that we're gonna take. I think we will gonna focus more on as a stablecoin on Sperax right now. The only other one that cut the due diligence so far is Circle. So eventually we will give some space to that one probably next year. Okay, but at the moment we are focusing on Sperax.
Yeah, great. So
the yields on Circles are pretty low, so that's the
very good.
On stable coins, not on other form of yield for now.
Okay, so the next question is kind of a part two, happens to be from a separate user, ChamUD. Will this partnership have a chance to evolve over time to potentially include implementations such as swaps and liquidity pools as well?
Yeah, so yeah, that's more in line with the direction that we want to take. So yes, the answer is yes. We will be working on that during the second part of Q4 this year, maybe even at the beginning of Q4.
Very good. And Damian, do you mind, obviously not financial advice, but do you mind just kind of telling the community how you see the current market, how you see things playing out in kind of the near to midterm, and then also how you might see something like USDS fitting into that picture?
Yes, of course. Being an investor advisor, I cannot give financial advice that are not shared with all our users, and so I need to. You need to for sure follow Streetbeat to see the second by second, day by day advice that we are giving. Overall, from a macroeconomic point of view, I think that increasing the interest rate is not the right way to reduce inflation. The right way to reduce inflation is reducing the public expense. So I hope that the government, US government, realized sooner than later that we need to reduce the US public expense, which they are doing. I think they need to be even more strict on that. But of course, it's a bit unpopular because it's then it became a political issue. So this is the problem that we have in democracy when the parties try to do what is best for the economy, but they also need to save their face. It's a bit tricky. And I think that that's the thing that the US should do and should reduce the public expense. In the meantime, I see interest rates keep growing. So credit cards, the public debits, households, everything that is related to interest rate, loan and mortgage will be under pressure. And we see, we already know what happened in 2008 when you put under pressure those mechanisms. So I think they need to be careful of keep rising the interest rate because add too much pressure to the credit mechanism system. And so I still expect a high volatile market in the next 6 months. And then things should get, in my opinion, much better around the end of the year. And next year, we should be in much better shape than this year, this next couple of quarters. But of course, everything can change every day. So this is what it seems to me today, but tomorrow maybe a wonderful surprise arrive and everything stabilize very quickly, or other bad news arrive and everything destabilize even more. And so everything is contextual to what's happening right now. So tomorrow, in my opinion, will be already different based on the new data. And that's also why I think that self-direct trading when the market is in this condition is particularly difficult. Also why Robinhood users lost $35 billion out of the 90 that they had in Robinhood in Q1. And I don't expect the Q2 to be so gentle and for this type of users and this type of self-direct trading. And that's why Streetbeat represents a lighthouse in the dark right now, because we point you in the right direction and we help you to this particular market condition. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, that's great. We certainly appreciate your insight into that kind of thing. And, the current market conditions are confusing for a lot of people. So that should drive people to platforms like Streetbeat, where some of the expertise is given to them and the insights are on their side. So building on this, Damian. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and also that's why we think that a stable yield right now on a stable coin and like Sperax is the right time for a product like this. Actually, I think it's the perfect time. And that's why now, if you open Streetbeat, it's the first thing that we are recommending. It's for front and central and top. And the only thing is few states in US cannot yet access it. So we are working to try to give access to them as soon as possible.
Okay, very good. So we are bumping up on time here. I appreciate everybody coming to this AMA. I know I've certainly learned a lot. There's a lot of information given. It will be recorded and we will post it on our normal sites. It will be on Discord and also on YouTube. And then I also believe a recording will live on Twitter as well. Just final thoughts. I just like to give the floor to Damian and Alec, if he's still with us, just for some final thoughts as we wrap this up.
Well, I want to say thank you to everybody for joining. Please reach me out on LinkedIn if you want to, or Twitter if you want to speak with me and ask me anything else that was not asked today. And my personal email is damian@streetbeat.com if you want to write to me. And thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Damian. I think Alec's having two things happen right now. Either he has joined the party early at consensus or he's having some internet issues. So I will just go ahead and say thank you on behalf of Sperax. Ray, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to do a couple plugs. Thanks, Elliot. So Alec and I are at consensus. So if you'd like to meet with us, so we're happy to connect with you. And then also the other plug I'd like to do is that we are sponsoring a hackathon at ETH NYC, which is going to be the I think the 20th or the 25th. I think it's that week of the 20th in New York City. And we're looking forward to having you participate, or have any questions, please reach out to our team at those two locations. Thanks, Elliot.
Yep, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.